What's been going on the last several years for you?
I did a lot of writing. I think that was the main focus of my time. I went down to Nashville. I went on this quest to write with Steve Earle. I wanted to get. I kind
Oh,
of want.
really?
Yeah, I wanted to get really far away from what I'd done, and try and expand as a writer. Never ended up writing with Steve Earle, but I wrote with a bunch of guys from Whiskey Town and different things. And then I ended up hooking up with Ross Childress of Collective Soul, formerly of Collective Soul, and we wrote a bunch of songs in Nashville, and then just continued to write.
Okay. So now you've got an EP that you're selling at your shows now,
Yeah.
which will be released in a couple months, I think, is what you were saying.
Yeah.
And now, was that the fruition of your partnership with Ross?
Yeah, we picked 7 songs, we mixed them, and we just thought we'd put an EP out, take the band on the road, and stretch our legs, so to speak, and just try and establish who we are as a band. I think for me, the one thing I've learned over the years is that live shows are so important and integral to how you develop as a band. So I didn't want to get too far into the project without kind of knowing how it felt to play the music live.
Now, just doing some research on your new stuff, I know that you're making a point to make it sound more organic, whereas your previous band, Econoline Crush, had a lot of industrial and techno stuff. Was this something that was a conscious effort to get away from being compared to the Econoline Crush sound?
Very much so. I really wanted to try the organic thing. I wanted to try sort of that classic kind of rock approach, and at the same time, try and make it new. Try and make it sort of a part of what I'd done in the past as a writer. Like new music, yet with this classic form. And I think we've achieved that. And like I say, we're by playing these live shows, I think it gives us an idea of what's working, what's not working, and what we need to kind of improve on, and what we can build on, and so forth. I think live, right now in rock and roll, live is so important.
Oh, absolutely. Now, how important is it to, when you're just saying playing live, how important is it to actually play live? Because, with the Econoline Crush, you had a sampler or a keyboard player or whatever, and, a lot of the mainstream musicians out there that are playing live aren't actually playing.
Yeah.
Now, how important is that to you to have your chops down live as opposed to having backup tapes?
Well, I mean, Econoline, most of it was live, but yeah, you run the sequencer, and you're kind of tied to this sequence, and you can't. I like. Right now, I'm experiencing for the first time, the ebb and flow of the music, tempo coming up in a chorus, slowing down in a verse, just ever so slightly, but it enhances the emotion of the song, and I also think as a singer. It's just kind of cool to go out there and show people that you can actually do it, because as you say, there's a lot of pop stars out there that really can't sing their material, and it's kind of a bummer because the kids are getting sold a bill of goods, really.
Oh, exactly. Now, what are your plans for in terms of record deal or distribution or whatever? Because you've been like through kind of like Crush, you've probably been through it all, seen it all. You know what to look for, not what to look for. What are your plans in that aspect for the business side of the music?
I know the music industry. It isn't pretty. We're gonna try and we're gonna do this thing independently for now, and if the right deal comes along, we'll take it. But we want to maintain as much control as possible. I find it exciting in a way, being the underdog, scrapping for every little inch that we get. Because before, you kind of take it for granted. The label will put its muscle behind your act and get it on the radio or get you into some shows or whatever. This way, we're kind of getting there on our own. We're getting in there because the music is good. We're getting the gigs because we play well. And it's truly authentic and genuine, and that is important to me. And at the end, as I move through my career, this is sort of, I look at as the latter stage of my career. I'm not probably going to be doing this forever. I wanted to kind of go out as a really genuine article, like this is a real band with real vocals, with real drums, and everything is just alive on stage, and it's an organic, growing, and sort of nurtured entity, which hopefully, we'll get to make 3 or 4 records.
Oh, I hope so too. Is that hunger still there, like that you had when you first started out in the music business? Because you got it basically, it's a brand new project for you. Do you still have that excitement of what's going to happen in the future?
I think so. I mean, the last time I played this club, I was in a tour bus. Now I'm in a van. I don't know many characters that would get back in the van and do it. But I'm so hooked on playing music live.
So it doesn't matter what kind of
It doesn't,
conditions that you're in.
No, and it's crazy because lots of people go, man, what are you doing this for? Especially in the day of downloading and all that other stuff. But there's no way. I wish there were words to describe what it is like to stand and sing your song and watch someone sing it back to you with equal force. It's just, it's overwhelming, and you think, wow, I've made a little bit of a difference in that person's life. I've affected them in a tiny little way, maybe made them escape from the doldrums of life. And hey, if you can do that, that's pretty miraculous, I think.
Now, before the interview, we were talking about your transition, not just musically, but in terms of your lifestyle. You lived in LA for a couple of years, and now you moved back to your hometown of Winnipeg, which is, I don't know if you could find polar opposites.
Different.
Yeah, exactly. How was that for you, and why did you decide to leave the hustle and bustle of LA, other than finding a parking space?
Well, I think I wanted to be very close to family. I felt like I was kind of losing touch with who I was, and who I am as a person. So coming back to Canada, to my roots, to Winnipeg, just reaffirmed everything that I believe about rock and roll and about myself and what I want to do. And I like Winnipeg. People can put it down all they want. It's cold and everything, but it's a fun town, man.
Exactly. Well, thanks for doing the interview, Trevor.
Hey,
I'm glad that finally I got to figure out what you were doing, because Colorline Crush for me was one of my favorite bands back in the day. So it's good to see that you're enjoying what you're doing now, even though it's a different project. So make sure you check out hurstband.com.
Yes, hurstband.com.
And they'll have an EP available. Actually, they're selling at the shows. So make sure you check this stuff out. Thanks for watching. We'll keep with the clips.
Thank you.